I believe it's 17 straight road losses, if I'm not mistaken. 18 road losses. This is another day to prove yourself right here at the Ryan Center.
Javonte Brown will win the opening tip, and it's going to trickle all the way out of bounds. An unorthodox start to this one, Zach.
And
Archie's not happy about that one.
Head coach Archie Miller not too thrilled with that call.
It'll be Prendergast inbounding. He'll quickly find Nathaniel Smith. There you see Franklin Pierce 0-2 this season. They've been very good on offense, 90 points per game, but it's been the defense that they've struggled with, allowing 93 points per game for their opponents. Nathaniel Smith drives inside, and he'll kick it quickly out to DeMariante Hall. Hall spinning off of Brown, and the shot clock, we'll see that one clank off the heel. A good offensive rebound. That one thrown back up by Smith, and a foul on the floor. It'll stay with the Ravens.
And there's the rebounding that was an issue against Holy Cross.
And here is the head coach, Archie Miller, in his third season with the Rams. Outside, it's Donté Pope moving in on Farrell. He draws contact, and he'll have a shot coming up.
Great move there inside to work on Farrell. Really acrobatic move. See it again. Works inside on Farrell, spins, contact, hits the deck, and gets the bucket.
Donté Pope leading the Ravens this season in points per game with 23.5. He was excellent last time out against Bridgeport. 27 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 9 for 12 from the field, and 7 for 8 from the line. And he'll start 1 for 1 from the charity stripe here on Tuesday. Jamarcus Lawrence has yet to have his breakout performance as a Ram. Fouled out fairly quickly against Fairfield and struggled from the field against Holy Cross. David Green from the top of the perimeter. That one cashes through. We're even at 3.
David Green, the guy who averaged 14.3 a season ago, the Rams' highest scorer, 17.5 through 2 games this year, gets it started early for the Rams.
Had 13 points in the second half on Friday against Holy Cross. The Rams erase a 13-point deficit in that half, but Pierce Prendergast eliminates the momentum from Rhode Island and cashes in a 3 of his own.
Franklin Pierce really taking advantage of this Rhode Island defense right now.
The Ravens can score. That was no secret coming into this one. Lawrence moves inside, lobs it up for Brown, and a miscue up there. Good defense by DeMariante Hall. And now another miscue for the Ravens, and that one poked away from Farrell. They're going to call a foul on Thomas Prendergast.
A little bit sloppy there from the Rams.
And there is Mike Ruane in his second season as the head coach of Franklin Pierce. Spent 22 seasons at Bridgeport, the team that the Ravens last played, lost to Bridgeport 96-92 on Sunday night. That one was an interesting game. Ravens had the lead for a long period of time as Javonte Brown has a miscue there on the alley-oop. And the Ravens going the other way with Donté Pope pulling up for 3, and that one falls.
We know how good Donté Pope can be and has been, as you hear my voice crackle there. But he is just electric from all areas of the court.
David Green feeds it inside to Brown. Another miscue, and it's DeMariante Hall again coming up big on defense. Pope moves inside off of a screen. He'll dump it back out to Prendergast. Poked away by Green. Farrell picks it up. And now he'll move with pace. Finds Estevez on the corner. Pulls up for 3. That one's in!
Cam Estevez getting the start in place of Sebastian Thomas tonight. Knocks down his first shot of the game.
Stops the 6-0 run from the Ravens. Rams trying to claw back early in this one. Prendergast's 3. That one's through! A 3-point fest here early in the Ryan Center.
These two teams just do not want to miss from outside.
David Green will opt to go inside. Contested layup, no good, but a foul is drawn, and Green will shoot 2.
Franklin Pierce, 4 of their last 4 from the field. Now we'll take a look. Farrell finds Estevez in the corner. A no-look pass almost. He knocks it down. We've seen Estevez be so good last year in his freshman season from outside the arc.
David Green makes his first from the line. Hasn't missed at all this season. And by default, he's tied for the best free throw percentage, I apologize, in the country.
Hey, if you don't miss,
yeah,
you can't be last. You can only be first.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
And I believe that all of Franklin Pierce, every player that started the game just came off the court.
They call that the old switcheroo. And it will be a substitute in Zaire Miller running the floor for the Ravens. He'll hand that one off to Michael Myrie. He moves inside, and that one's blocked away. Javonte Brown rises up and says, no, 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 not this time.
You see the reaction from the girls in the crowd behind him right now. Just really protecting the rim there, Javonte Brown. They've been trying to get it to him down low on the offensive side, but right there, Brown shows his prowess on defense.
That the perks of a 9-inch height advantage up there by the rim. The 7-footer comes out on top 9 times out of 10. It will be Michael Myrie retaining possession after he had his layup attempt blocked. He'll inbound it to Miller, and a foul on the floor. I believe it's going to go on Lawrence. It's been an odd game, Zach. You had a 3-point fest kind of as a barrage to open up the game, and ever since then, both of these offenses have seemingly kind of stalled in the last minute or so. That one inbounded to Abubakar Wague. He'll find it out to Miller. Miller runs into a blockade of Lawrence. Now Wague moves inside, throws it up off the heel, and Brown collects the rebound. Farrell on the other end moves his way inside, draws contact, and makes it fall.
Nice bucket there from the freshman. We've seen him get physical in the early part of the season. Does it right there. He's got all the confidence in the world. That's what you want to see from your freshman.
Tyon Farrell named the A-10 Rookie of the Week, the first A-10 Rookie of the Week of the season. And that play right there is evidence as to why. 8 points per game to open up his collegiate career as he cashes through on the and one. Driving inside, Caleb Gatewood. Fade away from the post, off the glass and through. And the Ravens extend their lead.
Nice move. He lost Green using that spin.
And careless ball movement from the Rams, and the Ravens are going to capitalize. 2 more points up and in for Gatewood. The full court press for Franklin Pierce has been working very well, but now the Rams looking to prove them wrong, and they will. A deep 3 from Green.
Just not going to be able to leave that guy open. Green will knock it down from anywhere outside the arc or inside the arc.
Pure shooter is what you could classify Green as. Step back for Jaquise Kemp. He'll hand it off to Myrie. That's Gatewood on the run, off the rim, and out. And a good defensive board by Estevez, and a miscue on the pass. Lawrence somehow keeps it in bounds. And now Farrell moving, incontested layup, draws contact, but they say it's clean. Now Gatewood moving in once again. Good defense by Estevez. Jump ball. Who will they say it stays with? And it will go with the Rams. But the Rams will come back with the bat.
I've never seen that before, Hayden. Never. You know, you and I have called a lot of basketball games together.
We have.
I've never seen that.
And he will make the free throw. And as a result, the Rams will now go all the way back down the floor and start with possession and a chance to take the lead here. And Quentin Debunji checking into the game for the first time. And there you see Sebastian Thomas on the bench. Had that scary lower body injury on Friday night against Holy Cross. Was able to come back and actually scored more points after the injury than prior. But he will get the rest today as Jamarcus Lawrence charging up, and an errant pass tried to find David Fuchs underneath the rim. And now the Ravens looking to capitalize on the mistake. Michael Myrie trying to bounce that one over to Abubakar Wague, and that one taken away. On a run, Jamarcus Lawrence, and he'll slam it down. Rams up top, 17-16.
Nice play there from David Fuchs down low. Gets the ball loose up to Jamarcus Lawrence. He slams it home. Rams have the lead.
Myrie moving into the left lane. Tried to cash it in over to Bunji. Couldn't, but a good O-board by Wig and an air ball to follow. And now the Rams will look to slow it down. But a steal coming in from Zaire Miller. Home crowd wants a foul. Zaire Miller wants a 3, and he won't be able to cash it in. Now Lawrence finds House, pumps. He'll move inside, and a foul called. They're going to call it a travel on House.
Saw that Jamarcus Lawrence dunk here. Great play from Fuchs. Traore up to Lawrence. He'll slam it home. Rams' first lead of the night.
It's all about those instincts to try and read the play and beat the defense down the floor. And Lawrence did a great job of reading the play there and capitalizing on the mistake from the Ravens. Nathaniel Smith will quickly find Demariante Hall. Hall finds his man in Pope. Great defense by House. Prendergast moves it back to Pope. Pope locked down in the corner. House, terrific defense. Prendergast pulls it off the heel.
Fantastic defense from House down in that corner and got his own bench cheering for him.
David Fuchs from the top finds Nylon.
We saw Fuchs a season ago. He loves that top of the arc 3 right there, finds it.
Hall finds his man, and the fadeaway falls. Donté Pope cashing through again. Long pass from Debunji. House wants a 3 of his own, and he won't quite have it, but a good offensive rebound. And Fuchs, can he have another? He quite can't. Debunji, good O-board, and a block from behind from Pierce Prendergast.
Rams right there finally missed from behind the arc, but they're getting really, really open looks from behind the arc. If Franklin Pierce continues to allow that, the Rams will run away with this one. See Fuchs, open space. Hall doesn't step up on Fuchs. He'll knock it down.
It'll be Cam Estevez making his first start tonight of this season. Started a slurry of games in the middle of the season last year. 3 from House, and it's in.
House gets redemption for the 3 he missed with 3 right there.
There you see 93.5 points per game. That leads the Atlantic 10 through the first week and change of this 2024-25 season. Rams will hope to keep that up today. 23 points. Not even at the halfway point of the first half is a comforting sign. And a good finish there, and a physical one from Donté Pope.
Pope has been really, really good drawing contact and laying it in, off the glass so far tonight. Gets the contact off to Monje, kiss off the glass, and he'll walk away with 2 and a chance for another.
Donté Pope, the graduate student, had a very productive career at Emmanuel College. 3-time GNAC all-conference selection. Averaged 17.4 points per game in his 3 years up there in the Boston suburb. And House, red carpet to the rim, and he converts. Nathaniel Smith will try and lead the Ravens to answer. Fuchs slips, he moves inside, finds Prendergast, over to the twin, from the corner, off the heel. Traore gets the good rebound. Bunje uses his body to move inside, and the floater trickles in.
Nice there, fights off the defender, gets inside, just lays it up, rolls around, and gets it to fall.
Prendergast working on Traore in the post, tried to feed it inside to Pope, but Debunji makes contact. Or White can even gain possession of the basketball. Not sure what that one was about, but we resume nonetheless. He'll find it into Hall. Prendergast finds White, working the baseline, and too strong on the lay. David Fuchs at the top. Bounces it in to Traore, and he clanks that one off the side of the backboard. Lost touch of where he was on the floor, and now White controls. Franklin Pierce runs a very, very fast offense, using the perimeter a lot. Prendergast finds Watson. That one off the rim. Physical there by Prendergast, trying to get in the business of Debunji, and they call him for a foul.
So Rhode Island, this press has been really on for Franklin Pierce, and they've done a good job. They forced a lot of turnovers from the Rams. They're not allowing them to get out of their own half easily. You see it there again.
Estevez will work the right side. Rhode Island has struggled taking care of the basketball. But when Franklin Pierce has turned the ball over, the Rams have been the one to capitalize. House moves inside, draws contact. Too strong, but he'll shoot two.
House got his defender going one way. He went the other, gets to the rim like we've seen him do so many times these 2 seasons at Rhode Island. And so he'll go to shoot two. Didn't end up converting, but he'll go and shoot.
There you see behind head coach Mike Ruane. That's a Rhode Island FC shirt, the newest professional sporting team in Rhode Island, playing in the USL Championship semifinals this coming Saturday. We wish them luck.
Always good to see Rhode Island doing well.
That's a good fan right there, supporting his team even at a different sport.
Can't say I haven't done it.
So that would make you a good fan as well.
I think so. I hope so.
It's hard,
especially for the teams that you and I root for.
It's hard to self-proclaim that for yourself, so I'll deem you a good fan as your new title.
Thank you, Aiden.
You're welcome. Rhode Island a bit more efficient from the field. 71% for the Rams, just 43% for the Ravens. But the scoreboard doesn't quite show it, as the Rams are only up by 7. Working inside is Wague, and some contact made. They say no foul, but it does go off on the Rams, so Franklin Pierce will maintain possession.
And you mentioned the shooting numbers for Rhode Island and for Franklin Pierce. Franklin Pierce is 0 of their last 4 and 2 of their last 12.
They really have slowed down since it seemed like they couldn't miss to open up this game. Big step back from White from the top, and he silences the crowd.
Just double step back move on David Green, and just found some open space.
House moves in, draws a lot of contact from Caleb Gatewood, and he will shoot 2 once again. That step back there from White reminded me a lot of James Harden.
See it again here. It really does look like James Harden.
It's that double shuffle. Despite it looking like a travel, it is in fact legal.
I mean, whatever works, especially if it's, within the rules. I mean, just a great move there to get Green off you. You do that shuffle back. You have so much space. He knocks down the 3.
There you see Rams this season much, much improved in terms of free throws. They were the lowest in the A10 last year, but shooting 81%. That ranks 2nd in the conference and 21st in the entire country in terms of Division I programs. And House will make the 2nd. If you're Rhode Island playing a Division II team, you thought you would have a bit more than a 6-point lead at this point in the game, but with how locked in the Ravens were from outside to start off this contest, you're kind of lucky that they have slowed down as of late.
Yeah, they really, they had their mark and they found it early. And then as this half has progressed, we're at the halfway point. They haven't been able to shoot the rock as well.
White hands that one to Myrie. Working on Lawrence. Step back from the elbow for 2. Just misses. And Lawrence takes the board. Works off of contact. Banks it over to Green. Step back with some style and can't finish it off. But Farrell is there for the board. He'll draw contact and he'll have 2 shots coming up.
Right there in the corner, Jamarcus Lawrence was screaming for the pass. He was wide open in the corner. Farrell never saw him, but either way, he'll go to the line.
Farrell 1 for 1 from the stripe this evening. Had a great opener, 14.7 boards. And Farrell makes the first of 2. A patriotic student section on this Tuesday night, just a day after Veterans Day. And he will miss the first free throw that he has missed this season. But David Green converts in the second chance points.
Great job from David Green. The awareness, get the rebound. A hand comes in to knock the ball away. Strong hands, lays it up and in on the spin.
White working right. And he'll find Wig. That one tipped off of the shin of Javonte Brown. He's on a stretch behind the back pass to Farrell. He loses control. And the trickery from Rhode Island doesn't pay off. And now House gets it stolen. Riding in is Miller. He'll go up for the layup, and he'll miss. Sloppy offensive play on either side. And now a whistle will blow. I believe they're going to call Miller on a foul.
You mentioned the sloppy play on either side. Javonte Brown just got too fancy with it. The behind-the-back pass, it looks cool, but it was unnecessary. And up in Rhode Island, not scoring. Franklin Pierce coming the other way. And luckily for the Rams, a missed layup. And, now you're going to get to go and shoot, too.
Sometimes you stray away from those fundamentals, and it really does do harm. But House will try and redeem the Rhode offense and make some free throws here. Rhode Island just in the single bonus, so this will be a 1-and-1. And he'll make the first.
Yeah, House, not a great free throw shooter a season ago. There's no question about that one. He shot 67.4% from the line. Tonight he's 4 for 5. Really looking to improve that part of his game.
Came into this one shooting 85.7% from the stripe. And I don't know if he shot 200 a day every day during the summer, but that game that was lacking, that part of his game that was lacking just a year ago has seemingly resolved itself over the summer. Contested layup goes up and through for Michael Myrie. And that gets Franklin Pierce inside a 9-point deficit. David Green from the top for 3. Off the heel. No one there to answer on the O board, so Miller will take it. Bounces it to White. Pumps on the 3, moves inside. Fans want to travel. They're not going to get it. Bounces off the rim, and the Ravens can't quite save it, and Rhode will take over. Abubakar Wig really felt that he saved that one, and here is the old switcheroo as we have trademarked it here inside the Ryan Center on this Tuesday night. All 5 players switching at once. It's kind of like a change in hockey, if you will.
I was kind of thinking that, it's just a full rotation of, all the guys on the floor for you. And, it will give you a boost of energy out there if you feel like, both of those squads are even.
Lawrence streaking up. Contact. Can't quite get it to fall. It rolls off the front iron. But Lawrence has 2 shots coming up.
You see the Rams go to the rim strong tonight right there. House now Lawrence. And so, he'll go and shoot. But it's good to see the Rams really trying to get to the rim. Against the Division II school. Not to say they're inferior in any way, but they really, they want to get up there, get to the rim, and, show you that they are strong. And, this is that program.
And Estevez will check back into the game after Jamarcus Lawrence makes his first free throw. The Rams have been good from the stripe so far this evening, 11 for 13. There is the Nebraska transfer in Lawrence, looking for his breakout game as a Ram. Didn't quite have the opportunity in the opener against Fairfield with the early foul trouble, and against Holy Cross on Friday just couldn't quite get dialed in from outside. Went 1 for 7 from distance against the Crusaders. Prendergast feeds it back to Nathaniel Smith. He pulls a 3, misses the rim entirely. Gets lucky that he hits the bottom of the backboard to keep it in play. Rams trying to extend their 11-point lead. They find Green in the corner. He pulls up a 3. That one off the rim, just a tad bit short, but a great offensive rebound by Farrell, and he floats that one up for 2.
Great job from the freshman. Finds the ball, jumps inside, makes the layup. Just great physical move.
That one out to Smith. Jab step, 3 on the way, and it falls through.
Franklin Pierce up to 5 for 10. From 3, doing such a great job.
Farrell for Brown, and he lays it in. And a timeout call on the floor. Company Great Danes. Busy week in Rhode athletics at that. The day after, women's team at home to host St. John's. Donté Pope will find Smith. Smith on a mismatch with the center. He'll feed. Hall going in, and they call a charge.
Great job there from Jamarcus Lawrence. Sets his feet, knows the contact is coming, takes the hit, and the ball will go the other way. You see it here, sets his feet, and that's textbook, Aiden. You want to take a charge, that's how they teach you. Set your feet, take the hit, get possession.
Take a hit to make a play.
You are exactly right.
Thank you. Farrell to inbound. He'll find Lawrence. The Ravens haven't let up on that full court press. Estevez dumping it down to Brown. A terrific vision pass. And they're going to call, I believe, Thomas Pendergast on a foul.
Looks like almost, 4 of the 5 guys on the court for Franklin Pierce were surrounding Javonte Brown.
When you're 7 foot, you're pretty hard to miss, and you can draw some attention. We'll see how Brown does here on these free throws.
I mean, especially if you're Javonte Brown, 18 points against Holy Cross. He's been one of the best players on the floor for the Rams. In their first 2 games, we saw him break out against UConn in that exhibition.
Shooting 55.6% from the line. He'll miss his first attempt on the evening. But from the field, he's been spectacular. 80% from the field, the best in the Atlantic 10. And he'll see that one fall through. That 80% also ranks 22nd nationally. Smith moves in on the run, just a bit off. Foul on the floor. Believe it's going to go on Traore. And it will.
And you talk about Javonte Brown. The Rams this season ago, they were looking for that guy at the 5, at the center. David Fuchs, as good as he is, as good as he played for the Rams this season ago, he's not really that much that guy. He can play it. He absolutely can with some skill. But Javonte Brown, the transfer from Western Michigan, he's been around. He's got a lot of experience at multiple different universities. Now he comes in, and he'll be able to control the paint there for the Rams.
Working around the perimeter is White. Finds Prendergast. Hops in the paint, and the lay just a bit too far to the right. It whoops out of the rim. And taken in by Estevez. He moves in. Floats it high off the rim. Brown tips it up. But it inevitably falls in the hands of Kareem Porter. Prendergast out by the logo. Working on Farrell. Runs out of space, finds his twin, kicks it to Kep. His 3 no good. Tyon Farrell hops into the paint, and they are going to call a blocking foul on Pierce Prendergast.
And we talked about the shooting difference in this game, but Franklin Pierce has taken 10 more field goal attempts. They've made 1 less than the Rams, but also what sticks out to me, the Rams 16 free throws attempted. Franklin Pierce just 2. They're 2 for 2 on those attempts. The Rams 13 for 16. We'll get 17 right here.
Farrell will miss the first. And now David Fuchs will come in for Javonte Brown. So we're going to see most likely some reps for the sophomore at the 5. And Jaden House will come in for Estevez.
And David Fuchs, Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week, back on February 26th, a season ago. Played really well for the Rams, but, we mentioned there's a little bit of a height difference there between Javonte Brown and David Fuchs, and that's what allows Brown to be so dominant down there.
For Fuchs at 6'9", he was able to have some success at the 5 last season, but at 6'9", typically you're more so playing the 4 as opposed to the 5. Battling down there in the post is Porter. He'll kick it out to White. He moves inside, steps back for a 3. Errant Chuck goes up, and White ends up right back with it. Hops into the right lane, gets it past Traore, and in for 2. Zach, despite the Rams having a decent amount of success against it as of late, the Ravens just have not let up on that full court press.
Yeah, it was working for them early, and not so much as in the latter half of this first half.
Lawrence finds Farrell, banks it to Traore. House steps left, moves inside, hops into the paint, and the two can't quite go. Tough rebound by Fuchs. They call a foul on the floor. I believe it's going to go against Porter, and Fuchs with a double bonus will shoot two.
It's great work down there from David Fuchs. You know, Jaden House gets to the middle, does what he does best. Gets to the middle, just can't get it to fall. David Fuchs, real strong, athletic rebound, you know, fighting off a few defenders and ends up, you know, getting a shot off and earning, you know, a chance to shoot.
For Franklin Pierce, they're stepping outside their comfort zone in this contest. This game against Rhode Island, the first that they have played against a D1 opponent since November 20th of 2014, when they fell to the Minnesota Golden Gophers 109-57 at the NIT season tip-off. So this return to D1 competition, at least for just one game, has been a long time coming. And there you do see the difference in size of D1 to D2. Rhode out-rebounding the Ravens by 10. Doesn't matter, though, if you cash it in on the first try. Jaquez Kemp hitting the fadeaway from the baseline, and they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Prendergast.
Just a little too handsy with Jamarcus Lawrence, I believe. He doesn't like it, but you know, Lawrence shook him off. I think just a little too handsy, grabbing him too much. And so now Lawrence with the Rams, you know, in the bonus. Plus will go and shoot.
Thomas Prendergast pleading his case to no avail, still trying to get through to the lead official. It is a diplomatic conversation, though. Lawrence's first shot goes up and through. And Thomas Prendergast will see himself to the bench for the time being. Lawrence cashes that one in.
We mentioned it so much. It's nice if you're a Rhode Island fan to see the Rams really shooting well from the lines so far this year.
Step back into the corner. White won't pull the trigger. Instead, he'll see what Jaquez Kemp can do. He'll feed it inside. That one with Porter. He runs out of space. Back out to Kemp. Deep high three. And that one swirls in.
Kemp has made some really, really athletic jumpers tonight. No, only up to 5 points, but he's just looked really good, you know, when he has the ball in his hands.
Lawrence finds Traore. DeBunji for three. That one off the heel, and it'll be swallowed up by Nuno Nido.
DeBunji, not much of a three-point shooter, 27.5% at East Carolina a season ago. You know, but if you get an open look, you're going to take it.
And a look that's that open, you can't really even fault him for trying. Kemp moves the perimeter, finds Nido. His three on the way off the right iron. Rams have not scored a field goal in almost 4 minutes. House looking to end that dry streak, and he will! The fadeaway three, and the first time the Rams have scored 50 points in the first half since November 15th of 2019, when they scored an even 50 against the University of Alabama. And White answers.
Henry White, beautiful step back move on Jamarcus Lawrence. We'll get a timeout.
And availability before the home opener against Fairfield said that he is the most important part of this team. And all the Rams have scored 50 in the first half without him. You have to wonder what the tally would be with him.
And, you know, to be honest, when he went down with that injury against Holy Cross, I thought his season was over. I really did. You know, it looked not great, you know, based off his reaction, but he came back and he led them to a comeback win.
Traore finds House. Back to Traore. Inside to Fuchs. And they're going to call an offensive goaltend, I believe. And they will.
Yeah, that is, you know, you look up the offensive rim interference, that is what comes up.
That's textbook.
Yeah, just too early there from Quentin DeBonge. Taps it, you know, too early. Textbook. That's really all I can say. With this voice that's breaking down on me.
I think textbook sums it up pretty well.
It does.
Zach, we got to commend you, buddy. You're rallying today. We were up late prepping for this one last night, and I started to hear the voice go, and I said, "Uh-oh, this could be tricky." And definitely woke up this morning sounding the same.
As oh my goodness, Caleb Gatewood. Caleb Gatewood is taking no prisoners.
I have no words. Caleb Gatewood
here in the Rhode Center. And so now all of a sudden, Franklin Pierce, 7-0 run. 7-0 run.
I'm not sure if our production team got our reaction on the face cam, but I'd love to see that at halftime. Maybe in the wipe. House tries to answer with a three. He'll find the back rim, but a good put back there by Traore.
Great positioning there from Teresa Traore. The miss and just taps it back in.
Kemp with a deep three, and he finds the bottom.
No doubt about it. Franklin Pierce are feeling it right now.
Traore, why not? Corner three on the way. Oh, and he almost had it. Kemp with a good deep board, and falling out of bounds there on a terrific play was the man who made the great offensive play just a few moments ago in Gatewood. Gatewood finds the miscued pass, and he'll look to hand it to White. White working on House. They're going to call House on the defensive foul. And coming up at halftime, A10 quick hits, highlights, and stats. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave the living room during the break coming up in 61 seconds. You won't want to miss a thing. White will miss the first of the 1-and-1, and House will collect the deep board. Under 60 to go here in the first 20, and a turnover from House. White working the other way for Fairfield. The contact and lay too strong, no foul. DeBunji takes it for the Rams. They'll find Estevez working up, contact lay, up and in.
Great move there from the Rams. Out to Estevez. Great contact lay, goes straight up with it. He invites the contact, brings it in, lays it home over Kareem Porter.
And he'll have a chance to add one more on top of it. As much as Franklin Pierce has ran an offensive clinic here in these first 20 minutes, Rhode Island has outdone them just a tad. Talk about the percentages: 50% from the field, 46 from three, 82 from the line. And Cam Estevez looking to pick up point number 6, and he will.
Estevez just 5 points against Holy Cross. So nice to see him, respond with some better confidence today. Already 6 here in this first half.
And it really is just a shock at the lack that the Ravens have been able to get to the free throw line as opposed to the Rams. 20 more attempts from the charity stripe does Rhode Island have. 2 on the way for Franklin Pierce, and it falls. And guess who shot it? It's Donté Pope. And
Pope up to 5 for 5 from the field.
Jaden House, with no shot clock, will draw this out. He'll lose the ball, and that will likely be it. Will we have time for a heave? We will not. Estevez will shoot it nonetheless, and he'll end up short. But Zach, a chaotic first half this second 20. And it will be Jaquise Kemp, the senior forward out of Lakeland, Florida, to do the honors. He'll quickly feed it into Henry White, and the second half is underway here from the Ryan Center. White working on Lawrence. He'll quickly feed it into Pope. Pope running out of space. He'll dump it back to White. Good defense by Lawrence on White. Pope working in on Green, 23 on 23, and the one wearing white wins that battle. Jaden House leading all Rams in scoring with 13 points. And he's doing that while coming off of the bench. His spark plug is House, and he really has flourished coming off of the bench this season as Farrell moves in. It's too strong, but Brown's there to clean up the trash and stick it right back in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we mentioned it, earlier today. Jaden House has just been so good off the bench. And, Coach Miller said, after the lacrosse game, he's not going to sit there and pout.
And good defense there by Farrell. Sorry, Farrell, I apologize. We were too busy talking about the quarterback that I got mixed up there. But there will be a foul in transition called on the Ravens. And Farrell will come back to his own side of the floor to inbound.
And there we are.
Farrell will be guarded tightly on this inbound by Thomas Pendergast as he comes on for Kemp. That one fed inside to DeMarcus Lawrence. Good heavy pressure up there by the logo by White. Making Lawrence work for some space. Fed inside to Javonte Brown. Patiently waits. Goes up and in. And he'll shoot one more from the line.
The Rams trying to get that ball to Javonte Brown early in this game. Within the first 2 minutes. They get it done right here. David Green, Javonte Brown. Good patience, as you mentioned, David. Kiss off the glass. Gives a yell. And he'll go to the line for Uno Mas.
Uno Mas. Bilingual?
No.
Ah, okay.
I actually speak more Italian than I do Spanish, but...
How would you say that in Italian?
I don't know.
Fraudulent.
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 I can understand it very well. I just can't speak it that well. That's the thing. I honestly, if I sat here and thought about it, I could remember it.
A fraudulent trilingual is Zachary Petrick.
I never said I could speak Spanish.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I think you did. That's what I heard. White working on Green. He'll move his way inside before kicking it out to Pendergast. He moves in, and he will force Javonte Brown to make contact with the rim, and a goaltend results.
Yeah, Brown just too eager to go up and get that ball. Instead, gets his hand stuck on the bottom part of that rim. And so it's a interference. It'll go with the Ravens.
Tyon Farrell working laterally, trying to get around the very, very tight defense by Prendergast. He's been manning the inbounds a lot for the Ravens. Tough contact made there on House, no call. Farrell moves in, hands it to Brown, and he will just lightly let it fall through the rim.
I don't know if he handed that one off to Brown or if it just got out there. It looks like a defender got a hand on it, but if he did, a really nifty pass down low.
Point A to point B nonetheless. Prendergast, deep three on the way, and that one falls through. Pierce Prendergast dialed in from deep.
You mentioned the three-point shooting numbers for the Ravens. They're just doing such a good job.
House looking for a three of his own, and he'll have it. 3 for 5 from deep is House.
4, they're up to 19 for 35 from the field so far tonight. 54%. They're shooting really well, but, Franklin Pierce are just lighting it up from behind the arc.
Smith will feed it into Wig. Pierce Prendergast finds it into Wig. And he'll lose possession, bobbles it, but somehow regains that one out to Pope. Off the rim, no good, and a good D-board by Farrell. The quarterback has mixed me up for the rest of the game, it seems. Farrell moving in off the glass, not strong enough, but a foul call.
I mentioned it so many times tonight. The aggressiveness of the freshman is just really getting in there and, working it hard. Now he gets to go to the line to shoot because he's been so aggressive and physical, both on that defensive rebound and then now down the other end of the court.
Farrell will have 2 shots. And Thomas Prendergast, I apologize, now with 4 fouls. And as a result, he will come out of this ballgame, for the time being at least.
See there the free throw numbers, which we've highlighted so much. Rhode Island, against Fairfield as well. They got to the line at just a fantastic rate. It's the reason, they've had a lead in this game. It's the reason they, really did well against Fairfield. So tonight, a season ago, you might see them go to the line that much, and they're shooting, 65% tonight. And in earlier nights of this season, they're doing a great job at the line.
It also should be noted, Brandon touched on it earlier in this game, back in the first half, of Rhode Island's depth and the amount of players they're playing. Franklin Pierce has a lot more. They've had 16 players touch the floor tonight. As Javonte Brown with a big block.
The Rams are not making it easy on Franklin Pierce here in this second half. Great defense on the outside, driving in, and then down low, Javonte Brown block.
Deep three at the buzzer, off of the heel of the rim, and Farrell will collect the rebound. The running Rams work it in transition. Farrell will have contact made. They say no foul. And now Franklin Pierce looking to return the favor. That one just short on the way. Trying twice was Heinrich. He comes up empty on both. But Zach will touch on that depth again from Franklin Pierce. 16 players touching the floor for the Ravens. That's the entire roster size of Rhode Island, and only 13 of Rhode Island's 16 are actually eligible to play. We'll talk more about this after this break. Rams up 13 on the Ravens. Tomorrow night, tip-off against the Black Bears is at 6:30 p.m. right here on ESPN Plus, or for tickets, visit GoRhode.com.
Should be a fun one.
Should be. Rams
Will be.
Rams took the matchup against Maine 2 seasons ago here at home, but fell up in Orono last season. House, deep three on the way. That one just short. Good old board by Javonte Brown, and he puts it right back up for 2.
Brown up to 12 points now. His 4th rebound as well. Has done a great job from the field.
And Zach, we'll continue touching on the point that we were making before we were rudely interrupted by the obviously scheduled media timeout, as that one's a good lay in by DeMariante Hall. The Rams only have 16 men on their roster. 16 Ravens have taken the floor for Franklin Pierce, but only 13 of those 16 for Rhode Island are even eligible to play. Always Right, Mook Icky, and Damon King are all redshirting this season.
It's a smaller team for Rhode Island, and Coach Miller mentioned that earlier in the season, but, they're confident in that depth that they have. But, they are a little thin in some areas, but you look at the team for Rhode Island, you pick a position, and you go down the chart. All of those guys can fill that position well. It's just if in the unlikely scenario, there's a wave of sickness or you get the injury bug, they're a little light in some areas.
Archie Miller said in the preseason availability, they're not looking to lift any red shirts, but if his hand is forced, we'll see the decision he ends up making. That pass, no one there to answer. A miscommunication between Miller and Heinrich.
So that's back-to-back possessions for both teams now. Just an errant pass makes the ball go the other way. For Rhode Island, it was Lawrence who just threw it out of play, and now the other way. Franklin Pierce makes the mistake. And so Rhode Island, their turnover ends up, not turning into points.
House will feed it into Green. And that one handed off to Lawrence. Lawrence, 3 on the way. That one's in! Jamarcus Lawrence, known for his three-point shooting. That's his first attempt of the day, and he is 1 for 1.
Made just one three-pointer against Holy Cross. Nice to see him get going.
Hall up top. Hands it off to Heinrich. Back to Hall. And now it's with Smith. Smith working around Brown off the bottom of the backboard. An ugly attempt trying to evade the 7-footer. DeBunji hands it off to Green. He'll fake a 3, kicks it out to House. Corner for Lawrence on the way, and it's through.
Beautiful ball movement from the Rams. House decides, I'm going to give this up to my teammate who's wide open. Unselfish basketball. Great play there from the Rhode Island offense.
Jaquise Kemp finds Smith and a turnover, trying to feed it inside to Hall. House moving up with it, runs into a blockade. Green for 3, that one too strong. Good old board by DeBunji, and he's fouled while shooting.
For Rhode Island, no Sebastian Thomas tonight, but all these guys on the court right now have been really passing the ball around, trying to fulfill what Thomas does. For the Rams, 6-0 run over the last minute and 9 seconds, 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes. And, you know, scoring drought of over 2 minutes now for Franklin Pierce. Rhode Island really tightened it up, you know, since that break.
And that run will stay at 12-2 for the time being, as now 4 Ravens will come on in substitution. I'm not sure if Franklin Pierce has patented that substitution strategy quite yet, but they might have to get on it. As now Debunji will have his second attempt coming up. And that one will fall. Rams up 20 on the Ravens here in the second half.
Yeah, after Debunji didn't play against Holy Cross, it's just nice to see him get some meaningful minutes here. 12 minutes, 5 rebounds, and 3 points as well, 1 for 3 from the field.
Porter tried to hand it off to Pope. It does eventually get to him. Pope moving in, foul called before the shot, and it will be on the Rams.
We've seen Rhode Island, you know, get to the line so much. Now I get to see Franklin Pierce finally get back there. You know, again, just 2 for 3 from the line tonight. Haven't done a great job getting there.
My apologies. They do call it a shooting foul. So Pope will have 2 shots from the line, and he'll make his first. Pope leading the Ravens with 14 points. Second on the floor behind Jaden House's 16. But Pope was a known scorer coming into this one, leading the Ravens in points per game. Second in the NE10 at 23.5 points per game mark. Jump pass and an accurate one. Finds Debunji. Floats it up for Fuchs.
David Fuchs had that one dialed up. He pointed up. Debunji saw it all the way. Great work there from the Rams. Lawrence, Debunji, up to Fuchs.
Rams attacking officially in the paint, outscoring the Ravens by 10 in that category, but a sneaky O-board there by Henry White. Snuck right under the nose of Fuchs, and that one a bounce pass in, but they're going to call a foul on the floor on Jamarcus Lawrence.
And so now we'll take another look. Got that alley-oop. Debunji up to Fuchs. Big slam from the big man. Rhode Island up 20 now, and you're right in that foul on Lawrence on the floor. Looks like when they switch, just too much contact, trying to defend down low.
White looking to inbounds. He'll find Pope. Quickly feeding it up to the top with Nito. Now it's Kemp outside. Cross court pass to Pope. Jab step 3 on the way, and a shooting foul on Lawrence. Got a foot in the landing spot, and that's 3 foul shots coming up for Pope.
I believe that's also the 4th foul of Jamarcus Lawrence. He's had some trouble, you know, in the foul area this year. You know, already once Fairfield, he didn't really get to play because he got in trouble. And then now, yes, he's up to 4 again, and he'll have to come out. So that's been an issue for him this year, and it really hurts him tonight. He's 3 for 3 from the field, 5 for 5 from the line. As that one is sunken from Donté Pope, but Lawrence will have to take a seat. And unfortunately for him, he's having a great night, but he won't get to continue it for now.
And listen, you're up 19, but, well, now 18, but to a certain extent, this game is not over, no matter if you're playing a Power 5 opponent or a D2 opponent. And you have to be disciplined throughout, as with the highly potent offense of the Ravens, it's never quite out of reach.
Yeah, you watch college basketball, as you see these long runs. Any team in any division, any conference can do it. So you're exactly right, and you know, you have to be disciplined.
And just a poor rebounding effort results in David Fuchs picking up a foul. Nobody was awake after the 3rd free throw from Pope knocked off of the rim, and it was a clean lane for Henry White to sneak in there and draw some contact, and now he'll have 2 shots of his own.
Fortunately for Franklin Pierce, you know, no field goals over the last 3 minutes. 1 of their last 7 from the field, as that one, you know, rolls out. But they need to get to the line if they want to come back in this one. That's really a key component. You know, down the stretch in games, they're trying to come back and just getting to the line, doing it now. But now they have to convert these.
And he'll miss. And Rhode does grab the D board that time. House runs to a full court press. A turnover. White comes up with it, goes up, and it's blocked by Traore. Jaden House will turn around. They're going to call a foul on the floor before the turn. It'll stick with Rhode.
I believe House was hit up high. And so it will go the other way. See the turnover by the Rams? Traore defending the paint. No, no, no. And then House there, you see the shove, but I believe contact up high against him first.
And Zach, if you want to come up with one word to describe the last minute of basketball, sloppy would summarize it pretty well.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
This press has been efficient for Franklin Pierce. Been getting it done early in the first half. Now they're trying to get it done here.
House moving up. He'll find Traore, and he'll quickly feed it back to Jaden. Estevez working left, and he'll find Debunji. Now it's House. Gets a screen, moves inside the lay, trickling in and trickling through. The Rhode lead back up to 20. Cross-court pass. All alone there is Trayvon Thomas.
And so the fans groaned at that one. They really wanted to travel there.
Section. But nonetheless, Rhode up 20 on Franklin Pierce. The Ravens have not made a field goal in just about 4 minutes. Kemp looking to end that streak, and he won't quite. And they're going to call a foul on the floor on Traore.
Yeah, I believe it's on David Fuchs. Just shoved off, looking for the rebound. Instead, Porter will go to the line for the first time tonight.
Porter tonight making his first collegiate appearance. The freshman from Massachusetts attended St. Thomas More High School. And he will miss the first of a 1-on-1. House heavy pressure from Thomas Prendergast, and the defender will get called on the foul. And that is the 5th foul for Thomas Prendergast, and his night is over.
So House, you know, he's been tasked with having to take the ball up with Lawrence, you know, not in the game, and Sebastian Thomas not playing tonight. And we saw him do that last year a little bit along with Louis Courtright. But so tonight he's really gotten fouled a lot, you know, taking a lot of contact. And so that's the reason, you know, he's going to shoot his 7th free throw here.
4 Rams are in double digits in terms of scoring. David Green has 10. Javonte Brown has 12. Jamarcus Lawrence has 13. And Jaden House has 19.
He's just been so fantastic this year for Rhode Island coming off the bench. You know, you mentioned it early today. 6th man of the year, maybe in the A-10. It's an early prediction. You know, we're not even 3 games into the season, but he has been so outstanding. And you mentioned the words, you know, the phrase spark plug. He has really been that for Rhode Island. You can see why he was preseason 13 All-A-10.
If House wants to make his case, he can read off the stat line from tonight. 20 points, 20 minutes, and a big 3-ball coming from Nuno Neto, the freshman. Out of Manchester, England, another guy making his first collegiate appearance. Debunji works off of a screen and invades his way inside, and he's fouled.
A lot of freshmen on this Franklin Pierce team. A lot of guys who have not made appearances, you know, in their collegiate careers or in this season. So Neto is, you know, first career points is a triple. And so a moment to remember for the English native.
Debunji will make his first. And Zach, around the rest of the A-10, there was a pretty big result that came in just around 10 minutes ago for the St. Joe's Hawks.
Yeah, took down Villanova. Villanova, you know, fell to Columbia as well. You know, I'm not too in-depth on Big East basketball, but You know, they've had some issues, and St. Joe's, who fell to Central Connecticut State, get a big win against Villanova.
Kemp moves inside on House. The skyhook falls through. Some shades of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that will make it an 18-point deficit for the Ravens. Estevez moving inside, little underhand pass to Fuchs, and he's fouled hard. Well, medium strength foul. I'll correct myself. Kareem Porter is the guilty party, and Fuchs looks to be just a bit shaken up, squinting that left eye.
I think he was caught up high, maybe, you know, an obvious foul, but I think he just took it up high a little bit. We'll see it here. Estevez, good pass. Yeah, just some contact.
Coming down
on the eye there. Never feels good. He's still squinting there as he goes to the line.
Well, Fuchs, seeing 3 rims, will miss the first one. Shooting a basketball just takes so much accuracy and precision, and if your depth perception is altered even just a bit, even those muscle memory shots that free throws really are become just that much more difficult.
And, you know, Fuchs not the most comfortable free throw shooter, shot below 57% from the line the season ago. And, you know, the Rams have, as a team, have done a good job at the line this season as he knocks down the second one. It makes it even harder.
They'll put on the blinders for that second shot. Rams just 7 away from 90. Nathaniel Smith on the perimeter. Runs into a blockade of Fuchs, still with it. He'll find the one remaining Prendergast in the game with the first name Pierce. And a foul on the floor. I believe they're going to get the Boonji.
Boonji now his 4th, and Farrell will come back in.
Tyon Farrell not close to any foul trouble. Just one for the true freshman tonight. As that will likely be the last minutes that we see from Debunji.
You know, Farrell, I believe he's up to 14 minutes now, 6 rebounds, you know, with the start as well. He's done a nice job on the glass.
And Traore has been one of those defending and rebounding forces coming out as a star for Rhode, as Fuchs spins off with a contact and just hands it a bit too hard off of the glass. Zach talking about the rebounds. Rhode has 39. Prendergast off the front iron and take it in by Estevez.
Yeah, Rhode Island, that was an issue against Holy Cross, especially in that first half. They could not rebound, and that's why they went down, you know, by 13 in that second half. But they, you know, they flipped the switch. They were able to get rebounds, able to get stops. They came back, you know, won by a good chunk, 91-77, after being down 13 with, I believe, about 13 minutes to play.
House got fouled in the act of shooting. He has 2 shots upcoming. Keep in mind, Rhode Island in the bonus, as well as Franklin Pierce.
I mean, House, you know, last year we saw, you know, in the beginning half of last season with David Green, as that one Clank sent it out, with David Green, you know, ineligible for a good chunk of last year. It was really the Jaden House show, and he had done a nice job. You know, he came back, or excuse me, Green came in, and he still did a nice job, you know, really was an offensive powerhouse. You know, averaged 14 points per game. And so now this year he's just coming off the bench, and he just looks so comfortable. He looks so good from all over the court. He looks re-energized on defense. You see him out here at the logo. He's just done a great job from everywhere this year. As you see there, he forces a turnover.
Intercepted by Farrell, but you can also credit House for the turnover as well, as he was the one that forces the errant pass and a foul in transition on Farrell. Well, Farrell was the victim of the transition foul, and he'll have 2 shots coming up. But for House, he has 21 points. His career high stands at 29. He set that.
Was that Fairfield a season ago?
It was not. It was against UMass.
UMass, correct.
That exhilarating win over winter break.
That's right.
Rams.
You were on that game, weren't you?
Myself and Nathan Robillard were on that call. We still reminisce about it to this day.
I remember, you know, I'm standing in line, you know, for the Tron ride at Disney, texting you and Nathan, how's the game going? What's the score? You guys were like, they can't miss.
It was the Jaden House and David Green show on that fine afternoon here in Kingston as Fuchs draws some contact, and now he'll have some shots. This game has really, really slowed down, Zach.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We saw this, when the Rams played Fairfield as well. Just the slow pace of these second halves with all the foul calls. We mentioned so many times, see
some camaraderie there.
And Rhode, that they only had 3 free throws at the half. 2 of them enjoying their courtside seating.
Brandon is very nonchalant for being sat right next to a celebrity. I personally,
that Brandon's the celebrity.
I would be a lot more starstruck.
There's another foul here. The 2 of them are just chopping it up.
A very charismatic personality is Brandon LaJoy. I don't know where Brandon got the camera from, though.
I don't either.
I haven't seen him open the camera. It just seems like he's carrying it around like an accessory.
And there, he's shooting us now, Aiden.
Oh, okay.
He's got the camera open.
The camera is open.
From behind the rim.
Zachary Watson into the game now, the freshman from Plainfield, New Jersey. There is Noah Toussaint, another freshman. He's from Long Island.
And you mentioned Plainfield, New Jersey. That is also where Jamarcus Lawrence is from.
Oh, look at that.
As my voice, cracks and whistles.
A block
there.
Starts
to deteriorate.
Off the hands of House. He saves it, gets it to Fuchs. That one knocked off of Zachary Watson, and Rhode will stick with it. A very messy offensive transition play there from Rhode Island, but they get away with it.
I'm really feeling it in the throat right now.
Are you?
Been battling the health all day. Thought I had it. Had 3, teas with honey. I was like, I'm going to do great.
And another foul as this game continues to take a slow, smooth jazz pace. 8:21 remain here in the second half of play. Rhode up 21 on Franklin Pierce. If you're just tuning in, I'm Aiden Garvey. Alongside me is Zach Petrick and the third member of our team, Brendan LaJoy. We'll have you with coverage as the remaining 8 minutes and change take off on the clock. And Fuchs will miss again.
Fuchs just cannot get one to fall right now as Lawrence checks back in, with those 4 fouls.
You can see the redness on the left eye there from Fuchs. And he will miss again. Taken in by the dunk man himself, Caleb Gatewood. And now it's Toussaint. 42 free throw attempts for Rhode Island. An absurd amount when you really think about it. As now Jamarcus Lawrence controls the floor, finds Farrell, out to Green from the top for 3, and that one connects. The Rams are 2 away from 90 points.
I mentioned it earlier, you just cannot leave David Green that open. He will make you pay, and right there he does it.
That one with Gatewood, guarded tightly by the true freshman Farrell. He'll move inside, loses possession. He wanted another dunk, and he will miss the layup attempt. Now in the corner, that's Zachary Watson. His attempt is long and taken in by Green. Estevez moving up the floor. He'll find Fuchs. Fuchs wants a 3. It's on the way off the front rim and just missing. And a flop there from Pierce Prendergast. Tried to draw a foul on David Green. The ref not buying it. Intercepted there by Jamarcus Lawrence. He's fouled in transition. That is foul number 4 on the second twin and Pierce Prenders. And his 13 points tonight match the tally that he had in just the second half of that game against Holy Cross. Jamarcus Lawrence will have a chance to shoot a free throw, and he'll convert. Lawrence second on the squad in terms of points this evening. He has 14 behind Jaden House, who has 21.
And you mentioned Lawrence looking for that breakout game with Rhode Island. You can say this is that one. 15 points, and he has not missed so far tonight.
Nope.
3 for 3 from the field, 2 for 2 from behind the arc, and 6 for 6 from the line. Or excuse me, 7 for 7 now.
And with that free throw, the Rams have struck history not once. In the 121 years of Rhode Island basketball, have the Rams scored 90 points in each of their first 3 games of the season. They have now done that.
An incredible feat, really. The Rams have looked so strong on offense to start this season. There's a chance they eclipse 100 tonight. They've just done a great job, on offense. The thing that we talked about so much a season ago was the defense, and they've tightened that up too. Especially against Fairfield. They let it slip a little bit against Holy Cross, but, down in the final minutes against Holy Cross, they tightened it up. They got together and they got that win. So they've done a great job, and I believe, Aiden, it's free wraps for students.
Free wraps after 0 for 2 from the line for Franklin Pierce. Lawrence hands that one off to House. Rams looking to get to the century mark for the first time since 2016. Farrell moves inside. He'll float it out to Lawrence for 3 from the corner, and he cannot miss.
Marcus Lawrence just have a night. Really slinging it so far. And I'm just going to correct you on the refs. It's 8 missed free throws by the team, the opposing team, and 6 for 14 are Franklin Pierce.
Well, no one shoots 100% from the field, as evident by that miss.
Jamarcus Lawrence does tonight.
Way to jinx him, buddy. Here is that Jamarcus 3, and he was wide open there in the corner.
Maybe I jinxed him, maybe not, but he's still having a fantastic night. 18 points, the breakout game in Keaney Blue, as well as 2 rebounds and 5 assists. He's done a nice job filling in for Sebastian Thomas.
Lawrence will find Farrell. He'll move inside, lofting it up for Brown, and he'll send that one in. It tickles the nylon, and the Rams are up by 31.
Rams have really come alive here in the second half. 38-16.
3 on the way from Devin Johnson. His first points of it as a collegiate athlete, the freshman from North Potomac, Maryland.
And that ends the 14-2 and 13-0 run for Rhode Island.
That one going up, and it will just be short. That one goes out on a ram, and the Ravens will maintain possession. A 13-3 run for Rhode Island over the last 4 minutes and 44 seconds. That one inbounded to Miller. He's trapped in the corner. He will find White up top. He'll move inside, and he will miss everything. It will be a Ram ball. The Franklin Pierce bench wanted a shooting foul on Jamarcus Lawrence, and he's thankful it wasn't called. That would have had him exit the game due to being fouled out for the second time in 3 games. In goes Green, and that's off the glass and in.
Green decides not to slam it home. I think some of his teammates on the bench thought he would.
The Rams 1 possession away as White clean step back 3, and that one is a dagger. Alan Farrell inbounding the ball for Rhode. And he will look for a recipient, and he will elect to send it into Estevez. Estevez spinning around Johnson. Green moves it into Brown. Brown, plenty of contact on him. And Kareem Porter will pick up the foul.
And I'll go back to Cam Estevez. Tonight, 6 points. He's 2 for 3 from the field. 3 rebounds, 20 minutes. He's done a nice job, coming back in, starting for the injured Sebastian Thomas. He hasn't taken up too many shots. He's only put up 3 from the field and 1. He's only got to the line once. He made that one. But he's done a nice job filling in. He hasn't been too aggressive, but aggressive enough. But he's doing a nice job in spacing. And it's the little things that, you don't see. But he's done a nice job tonight.
Brown will make both free throws, and the Rams are 1 away from the century mark. Trying to collect it here. White trapped in the corner. Out to Johnson up top. Contested three from the top. That one off the heel and taken in by Estevez. Miller creeping behind him. That's a quality steal. He'll move inside to the paint, and that layup up and through.
Estevez just never saw him coming. He wanted a foul as well. Didn't get it. But that's points for the Ravens.
All the way to the corner. Barely saved there by Traore. So as David Green, I apologize. Now Franklin Pierce from the corner. That one missing. Taken in by David Green. He will bobble it, but regain possession. And, ooh, that one is a testy foul there on the offense.
Just too high.
And we'll go to break here.
Such a nice job. See here, step back, which we've seen work so well for Franklin Pierce.
And a steal from David Fuchs, at least a near steal. Won't be a backcourt violation due to the contact with Fuchs. Henry White trying to work the perimeter. Good defense from Estevez. Tried to sneak it into Johnson, but it's stolen away by Debunji. Debunji working inside the perimeter. Finds it to Fuchs. Out to Debunji for a century mark. They won't get it. Farrell comes down with it. And a giveaway to Devin Johnson. White will travel, and that'll give the Rams the ball back.
Just sloppy there from Franklin Pierce. See the fans there celebrating the travel.
It will be Debunji inbounding it for the Rams. The Ryan Center starting to clear out with the obvious verdict already in. A 27-point advantage for the Rams over to Debunji. He'll find Traore. Now Estevez for three from the top, off the front iron. Taken in by Farrell. He'll float it up, and it is in. 100 points for the Rhode Island Rams for the first time since November 14th of 2016 when they took down the Marist Red Foxes 107-65. And that was the most points ever scored inside the Ryan Center by a single team in one singular contest. And Zach, the Rams have time to beat that today.
There is absolutely a chance for them to do that here today. Just have to convert here in the last 2.5 minutes.
And Debunji will be unable to corral it. They'll see it goes off on the white jersey, and the Ravens will keep possession here.
The Rams have done a nice job, shooting like 56%. They're 29 of 52 from the field.
And that one will be a foul called on Estevez. That'll be his second of the night. Nowhere near foul trouble quite yet.
And the last time the Rams shot, the Rams have not shot 56% or better this year. They have to go back to December of 2023 against Northeastern.
It was quite the game, and it was the game where David Green made his Rhode Island debut.
That is true.
And he has had quite the impact since that game. Was decently quiet in that contest. Didn't have a lot of playing time. Got in foul trouble pretty early, but he exploded in the contests thereafter. Debunji tried to work his way inside. He misses the layup, but Farrell corrals it once again. A miscue on the pass. Estevez with his hot pink shoes just narrowly avoiding that half-court line. And they'll bank it down to Fuchs. He'll spin off, working his way inside, and he's fouled.
We talked during Fairfield. Rams had 41 free throws. Tonight, 46. And so there's a chance that they get 50. The Rams have not attempted 50 or more free throws since January 25th, 1978. They went 33 for 50 from the line in an 87-48 victory over Richmond here in Kingston.
And that's now a double-double for David Fuchs. He'll join Tyon Farrell, who also has a 10-10 double-double, his first as a collegiate athlete. And the walk-on who had the big block against the Stags in the home opener, Jamie Aponte, the native of Cranston, Rhode Island, just about 25 minutes north, will step onto the floor, the walk-on.
Yeah, he's gotten to see time now in 2 of 3 games. Good for him, hometown kid. Can you imagine that block? It was so exciting, down the stretch against Fairfield.
And a turnover on Zachary Watson will have the Rams take over. 1:44 left here in the game. It's been a long, long night here in Kingston. Keep in mind, a tally of 108 for Rhode Island would mark the most points ever scored by a single team in the Ryan Center. Aponte moves in, and he just shoots it a bit too hard as it misses the back iron.
Man, they're going to force him the ball here down the stretch.
Johnson's 3 is no good. Aponte takes it.
The crowd
Home
and
fans
his teammates
want Aponte to get his first career points. He'll move inside on the baseline. Kicking it to Debunji. He's heavily blocked. Aponte can't control the rebound. Instead, it's Toussaint taking over. That one lofted up for the freshman Johnson. He can't corral it, and now the Rams take back over.
Every time Aponte gets near the ball, the crowd gets significantly louder. And, he got that rebound. They didn't want him to give it up.
Could you imagine if the Rams pick up a layup here and then Aponte gets a 3 to score the most points ever by a single team inside the Ryan Center for his first career points? That would be quite the story. They'll have Traore. He'll move inside, trying to find his way into the paint. Kisses it off. Fuchs pokes it back up. And now Debunji has it.
All yelling it.
Moving inside, loses possession, regains it, pivots around. Now Traore will be fouled. And with the shot clock off, it seems that the dream of 108 has since passed.
But the Rams will attempt 50 or more free throws for the first time since 1978.
Look at that.
And I'm happy I went into our wonderful game notes and found them provided by the athletic staff.
Almost 50 years since the Rams were at the line this much. And Traore will cash in on the first.
They've mentioned it so much. They've just done such a good job this year getting to the line.
They have.
And obviously, if you're getting to 50 free throws, those numbers are evident of that.
And Traore will get the Rams to 105. We'll see if Franklin Pierce tries to cut into that lead. And they will. A 3 on the way from Watson. It misses. And it will go out. And you got to wonder if they're going to try and get Aponte a bucket.
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Debunji will find Estevez. Will they get it to Aponte? Only time will tell. They'll have to fight through the full court press first. Debunji on the outside, and they're going to hold it. Jamie Aponte, although he showed heart, will have to wait for his first career points as the Rams explode in the second half. A 25-point margin